I never thought my graduation day would end with my stepmom telling me I had no home to return to. I stood there shaking, trying to hold back tears, while she smiled like she'd won. What she didn't know, what no one knew, was that the house she tried to ban me from actually belonged to me. My name is Maya, and when I stood in my graduation gown, I felt like the only person in the crowd pretending to be happy. I forced a smile, but my chest tightened so hard I thought I might pass out. Valerie didn't even look at me. She just tapped on her phone like she was bored. Dad stood beside her, staring at the ground as if eye contact with me might create conflict he couldn't hide from. Chloe and Maddie whispered and giggled behind me, and I didn't have to turn around to know it was about me. Congrats, I guess, Chloe muttered. Yeah. Maddie added, try not to cry in your pictures. It's depressing. I swallowed hard. Just leave me alone today. Why? Chloe smirked. You're not special. I walked away before my voice cracked. I hated how easy it was for them to poke holes in me. Ever since Mom died when I was 13, everything about my life had felt like it was shrinking. Dad remarried so fast it made my head spin. And Valerie slipped into our house like she'd always belonged there. She rearranged everything, our routines, our belongings, even our silence, and somehow she rearranged Dad too. He started agreeing with everything she said, even when she made rules that were just for me. You don't need dessert, your tone is rude, why are you wearing that? Don't invite friends over without permission, no, you can't join us tonight. Every restriction came with a smile that never reached her eyes. After the ceremony, while everyone laughed and hugged their families, Valerie stepped beside me and whispered, come with me. We need to talk. My stomach dropped. Can it wait? I just know. Her fake smile stretched tight. Now, she guided me behind a column near the parking lot, away from the cameras and cheers. Dad followed a few steps behind but stayed silent like usual. What is it? I asked. Valerie tilted her head. Well, Maya, the family is entering a new chapter. I frowned. What does that mean? It means, she said, brushing imaginary dust off my gown, we're moving. And you won't be coming with us. I froze. What? You heard me. It's time for you to spread your wings. She said it like she was doing me a favor. You can pack your things by the weekend. Dad stared at the asphalt. Maya, we think it's best. I snapped. Or Valerie chuckled softly. Don't be dramatic. You're 18. Adults live on their own. Most adults aren't shoved out without warning, I said, voice shaking. Oh, please, she sighed. This isn't personal. It was, and she knew it. Why are you doing this? I whispered. She leaned closer. Because you don't fit with us. You never have. It's time to move on. My world tilted. People around us kept laughing, taking photos, celebrating. I felt like someone had stabbed a hole in my chest and all my air leaked out. I looked at Dad, begging silently for him to stop this. He wouldn't even meet my eyes. So that's it, I whispered. You're just getting rid of me, no. One is getting rid of you. Valerie said sweetly. We're encouraging independence. I felt heat behind my eyes. Where am I supposed to go? That's your problem now, she said. I stood there shaking so hard my teeth almost shattered. And yet, beneath all the fear and humiliation, something else stirred, something sharp, something angry, because Valerie didn't know the truth before my mom died. She took me to her lawyer, Mr. Harlan. I was too young to understand everything, but I remembered her sitting beside me, holding my hand. One day, she told me, this will protect you, and it did. The deed to our house paid off with her insurance was transferred to me, quietly, legally, permanently. No one else knew, not Dad. Not Valerie. Not the stepsisters who used my things without asking. Only me and Mr. Harlan. Valerie crossed her arms. Make sure you're out by Sunday. I looked at her, really looked at her, and something inside me clicked back into place. Okay, I whispered. She smiled like she'd won something. She had no idea. As she walked away, and Dad followed her without a word, I felt the humiliation burning up into something hotter, sharper, stronger. In my head, I whispered the words that would change everything. If they want a war, they're about to get one. When I walked into the house after graduation, I knew something was wrong. The air felt too still, too intentional. Then I saw the boxes, my boxes, half packed, half raided, stacked in the hallway like I was already gone. I rushed to my room and found Chloe on her knees going through my drawers. Maddie sat on my bed, dangling one of my bracelets between her fingers. What are you doing? I snapped. Chloe didn't even flinch. Relax. We're helping you pack. You mean you're stealing my stuff? Maddie shrugged. You won't need half of this. Where you're going? My throat tightened. I don't even know where I'm going. Well, Chloe said, smirking. That sounds like a you problem. I stepped forward, snatching the bracelet out of Maddie's hand. Before I could say anything else, Valerie, appeared in the doorway with her arms crossed like she owned every inch of oxygen in the room. "Girls," she said, "give my space." Chloe rolled her eyes. "She's being dramatic again." "Out," Valerie repeated, and they left. But not before giving me matching smirks. I stared at the boxes, my heart pounding. "You had no right to touch my things," Valerie shrugged. "Maya, you should be focusing on finding somewhere else to stay. I'm just helping you prepare." "Prepare for what?" "Being homeless." "Oh, don't be so sensitive." Her voice dripped fake sweetness. "This is normal. Kids leave home all the time. Not like this." I whispered. She smiled, and it made my skin crawl. "You'll thank me one day." My chest cracked open. Years of emotional bruises, the silent dinners, the constant criticisms, the accidental exclusions flooded through me all at once. And beneath all that pain, my mom's voice whispered like a soft echo, "Be stronger than the world thinks you are." I grabbed my phone and left the house without another word. Valerie shouted something after me, but her voice faded as I stepped down the driveway. I walked fast, pretending to clear my head. But really I was calling the only person who could unravel this mess. "Mr. Harlan," I whispered when he picked up. "It's Maya." "Maya," he said warmly. "I was expecting your call eventually. Are you all right?" "Not really," I admitted. They're trying to kick me out," he sighed. "I'm sorry. But they can't." I sat on a park bench, gripping my phone. "I need you to tell me everything again. Every detail." He didn't hesitate. "The house is yours, Maya, legally. Your mother transferred ownership before she passed. The mortgage was paid off with her insurance policy. Your father agreed to it at the time. Valerie has no legal claim, no authority, and no right to move you or sell anything. So they literally can force me out." "No, they have no rights to the property at all. You're the sole owner." I closed my eyes as relief hit me so hard it made my head spin. "Thank you, really." "When you're ready," he said gently, "come to my office. I'll give you the updated documents." I hung up and stared at the sky, letting the truth sink into my skin. The fear was still there, but something else grew beside it, a spark, a shift, a quiet strength spreading through my bones. A flashback hit me so suddenly I gasped. I remembered Mom sitting on my bedroom floor years ago, holding a small locked box between us. "One day," she whispered, brushing my cheek, "this will protect you when you need it most." I didn't understand then. I understood now. "Maya." A voice called. I looked up and saw Elena jogging toward me. "Hey, I tried calling you. Are you okay?" "You ran out of the ceremony so fast." I swallowed hard. "They're kicking me out." "What?" Her eyes widened. "Are you kidding me? After everything?" "No, but it doesn't matter anymore. The house is mine. They just don't know it yet." Elena stared at me like she'd never seen me before. "You're serious?" I nodded. "Dead serious." "Then burn them," she whispered. "Burn them with the truth." When I returned home, Valerie and Dad were waiting in the living room. Dad looked annoyed, like I'd inconvenienced him by existing. "We need to finish this discussion," he said. "There's nothing to discuss," I replied. "Maya," Valerie snapped. "You need to respect our decision." "Respect?" I laughed softly. "That's funny." Dad frowned. "Don't make this harder." "I'm not," I said calmly. "You are." Valerie crossed her arms. "You've been dead weight for years. This is best for everyone." Her words sliced through me, but this time, I didn't bleed. I stepped closer, met her eyes, and said quietly, "You really should have read the paperwork." The next morning, my hands were shaking so badly I had to lace my fingers together just to keep them still. I stood in the middle of the living room and said, "Can everyone come here? We need to talk." Valerie appeared first, annoyed. "Maya." "I'm busy." "No," I said, forcing my voice not to crack. "You're not today." Dad walked in behind her, rubbing his temples. Chloe and Maddie dragged themselves onto the couch, whispering and rolling their eyes. My heart pounded so hard I felt it in my teeth, but I stayed rooted to the spot. "I know you're planning to move into Valerie's sister's place," I said. Valerie stiffened. "Who told you that?" "It doesn't matter," I replied. "What matters is that you were planning to leave me behind, to erase me from my own home." Chloe laughed. "Oh my God, erase? You're so dramatic." "Shut up, Chloe," I snapped, surprising even myself. Valerie narrowed her eyes. "Lower your tone." "No," I whispered. "For once, I won't." I reached into my bag and pulled out the envelope Mr. Harlan had prepared. My fingers trembled as I opened it. "You tried to kick me out. You told me to pack my things. You said I wasn't moving with you." Dad cleared his throat. "Maya, we already explained." "You explained nothing," I said, "but I will." I held up the deed. The room froze. Valerie's face drained of color so fast it was almost gray. Dad blinked like he couldn't understand what he was seeing. Chloe gasped. Maddie's lip trembled before tears spilled down her face. "This," I said, "is the deed to the house. My house. Mom put it in my name before she died." That's impossible, Valerie whispered. It's real, I said. You never checked, you never asked. You just assumed you could shove me out like I was nothing. She stepped forward. This is fake, you forged this, you're manipulating everyone. I almost laughed. Sure, I magically forged a legal document when I was 13. Dad swallowed hard. Maya, I didn't know your mother did this. That hurts more than anything you've said this week. I told him, you lived here, you raised me here, and you didn't even know who the house belonged to. Valerie snatched the paper from my hand, scanning it frantically. No, this can't be right. This is wrong, it's verified, I said calmly. Here. I handed her the letter Mr. Harlan printed. That's from Mom's lawyer. The transfer was filed legally. You have no claim to this house. No, she whispered again, her voice crumbling. Maya, we're a family. You wouldn't do this to us, you did it to me first. She dropped the papers and stepped closer. Sweetheart, let's talk, maybe we can work something out. Don't call me sweetheart. Her expression twisted. You ungrateful little. I'm done. I cut in, done being silent. Done being stepped on. Done being treated like trash. Chloe stood. You can't actually kick us out, you're not serious. I'm completely serious. Maddie sobbed harder. Where are we supposed to go? Valerie glared at her. Stop crying. I shook my head. I don't owe any of you an answer. I gave you years of my life. Years of insults, years of being treated like I didn't belong in my own house. Dad tried again. Maya, please. Let's think about this. You should have thought about it before you chose silence over your daughter. The room fell painfully quiet. Then I said it. You have 2 weeks to move out. Valerie exploded. You're ruining this family. Do you hear me? Ruining it? No, I said, my voice suddenly steady. I'm finally saving myself. At that moment, Elena slipped into the doorway. Maya, I got your text. Do you need? She stopped. Seeing the tension. Oh, wow. Then Mrs. Ray, our neighbor, peeked in through the open front door. Everything all right in here? She asked. Valerie snapped. Mind your own business. Mrs. Ray folded her arms. Maya's sweetheart. If you need anything, I'm right next door. That simple kindness nearly broke me, but I held myself together long enough to say, I'll be in my room, don't follow me. I walked down the hallway, shut my door, and locked it. For a second, I stood there frozen, listening to Valerie shouting, Chloe whining, Maddie crying, Dad sighing. Then everything inside me cracked at once. I fell onto my bed and sobbed loud, shaking sobs that ripped through me. Not because I regretted anything, but because for the first time I finally felt free. The 2 weeks passed slower than any days I'd ever lived through. I watched them pack their boxes, drag their bags across the hallway, and whisper among themselves. No one dared speak to me. Valerie wouldn't even look at me. Her pride couldn't handle the truth. Chloe and Maddie scurried past me like frightened shadows, and Dad finally whispered, I'm sorry, Maya, I didn't answer. The wound he carved into me ran too deep. Sorry, couldn't stitch it back together. When they walked out the front door for the last time, the silence felt heavy, like the house was holding its breath. The moment their car pulled away, something inside me loosened. I shut the door gently, not slamming it, not shaking with anger, just breathing. For the first time, the house was mine and more than just paperwork. I walked through the living room, my fingers brushing the walls Mom once painted. We should do this together, she had said, smiling with a brush in her hand while I watched from a stool. I could still hear her laugh echoing in the corners. I stepped into the kitchen and felt the warmth of the nights she cooked my favorite meals. And then I climbed the stairs and paused halfway, remembering all the nights I sat there crying while the rest of the family pretended not to hear. This house carried me, I whispered to myself even when they didn't. Every room they left behind felt stained with chaos, so I opened every window to let fresh air pour in. I scrubbed the floors, I wiped handprints off walls. I emptied drawers and threw away the junk they left behind. I even painted the hallway soft blue like the shade Mom loved. With every stroke of the brush, I felt like I was repainting myself too. On the third day, my phone rang. Valeri's name flashed across the screen. I stared at it for a long moment. Before I answered, Maya, she said, breathless, we just need a little time. A week, maybe 2, just until we figure things out. No, I said simply. Maya, be reasonable. No. I repeated, I meant what I said. You're not coming back. Her voice cracked, and I heard small, choked sobs. We're family, families help each other. You didn't help me, I said, not once. You can't do this to us. I already did. She broke into full crying, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel responsible for fixing her pain. I hung up without another word. Later that afternoon, Elena burst through the front door with bags of decor. Okay, she said, clapping her hands. We are transforming this place. No grief energy allowed. I laughed a real laugh. Lead the way. We spent hours rearranging furniture, choosing new curtains, debating colors for the living room. We argued about whether I needed plants. I did. She dragged me out to buy candles and throw pillows and things I never would have bought for myself. Before, you get to build your life now, she kept telling me, piece by piece. That night, after she left, I heard a soft knock on the door. When I opened it, Tyler from across the street stood there holding a toolbox. I heard you hammering, he said with a shy smile. Thought you might need an extra hand. I'm okay, I said, then paused. Actually, maybe some help wouldn't hurt. He walked in and spent an hour fixing the cabinet door that had been broken for years. As he worked, he asked gentle questions, nothing invasive, just enough to feel like someone actually cared. You're doing something brave, he said as he packed up. Most people never get the chance to take back their life like this. I didn't know what to say, so I just whispered, thank you. When he left, the house felt different, not empty, not haunted. Hopeful. I walked to the front doorway and stood there as the sun set, flooding the living room with warm gold. The same doorway where Dad once walked out without looking back. The same doorway where Valerie tried to decide who belonged and who didn't. Now it was mine. All mine. I placed my hand on the frame and breathed out everything I had been holding in for years. I wasn't thrown away. I whispered into the quiet house. I was finally set free.